everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paige. Today I am rewinding a bit and giving you the rest of my March wrap up because I just realized today my April wrap up went live on my channel and I realized that I never did a complete March wrap up. I did a mid-month March wrap up, but I didn't tell you guys about the rest of the books that I read in March. So this will be my completed, finished March wrap up. So if you want the books that I talked about for the first half of March, please go back and watch that video where I explained them in more depth. But I read a total of 17 books in March. I had 8 5-star reads. I had 5 4-star reads, 4 3-star reads, and 1 DNF. I read 12 of them on Kindle Unlimited. I listened to 3 on audio from Hoopla. I listened to 2 on audio from Scribd. So these are the books that I previously mentioned in my mid-month wrap-up. Managed by Kristen Callahan, Fall by Krista Callahan, Exposed by Kristen Callahan, Wolf by Penelope Black, Overture by Skye Warren, Rush by Penelope Black, Confess by Colleen Hoover, Always Been You by QB Tyler, Always Meant to Be by Siobhan Davis, and Finding Kyler by Siobhan Davis. So today I have 7 more books that I finished out the month of March with. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one is Love Language by Reese Morrison. This is an MM romance and this is a dom/sub, and it is also an age gap. So we have 2 heroes. One is younger, one is older, and the younger one is actually the dom, and the older one is actually the sub. They meet at a club. The older one is still in grief because a few years earlier his partner or husband died, and he is still grieving the loss of his husband. And the young one is there with some friends, and they meet, and they are really drawn toward each other, and they begin to date. And the older one, which is the sub, he is very hesitant about starting a new relationship because he feels like it's a betrayal to his husband who has passed away, and it's very hard for him to enter into a new relationship. But the younger guy, let's see, their names are Marco and Greg. So Marco is the younger one, and he is just fantastic with Greg. He lets him go at his own pace and never is rushing into anything, especially when Greg pulls away. And Marco gives him that space that he needs to deal with, all the emotions that he's feeling. And I just love their relationship. Even though they faced some issues, they worked it out and they had a beautiful love story, and I rated this one 4 stars. And then I read Morning Glory Milking Farm by Nascosta. I think that's how you say her name. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. This is not everybody will like this. This is kind of a weird romance, but I love all the weird romances. I have just been enjoying them so much lately. So this is basically a human girl who really needs to find a job. She's really struggling to pay her bills and all that, and she is offered this job at this place. It's a milking farm, and she goes in and she is shocked to discover what she has to do. Basically, this is like a company who collects the samples from these minotaurs and makes, I forget what they make, but they make like a pill or something for people. It's a very technical process. It's just a company who's collecting a sample, just like if you were to give blood or plasma or something, these minotaurs are being paid to give their stuff. So anyway, she is employed there as a milker, and that's what she does. She extracts this stuff from the minotaurs, and she meets a minotaur there, and she's very drawn to him, and this was their romance. I really enjoyed this one. I know some people really hate it because it's different, but I think it's actually, for this type of weird romance, it was kind of a slow burn and nothing happened too quickly, and I really enjoyed that because I prefer that rather than insta love. So I really enjoyed this one. It was really fun. It was very intriguing, and I rated it 5 stars. And then I read Girls Weekend. So this follows a character that I saw in Morning Glory Milking Farm. She is an elf, I believe, and she and her friends go on this girls weekend trip to this like nudist place where it's like an orcs nudist community, and for the sole purpose of just kicking back, having fun, and just having a good time for the weekend. And this follows like each of their point of views. I thought going into this it would only follow the one girl's point of view, but it actually follows all 3, and you see what they are up to during the weekend, who they meet, and exploring like relationships for all 3 of them. And I rated this one 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I was hoping for more, but I know she just released a 2nd book in this series, so I need to read that to like kind of like finish it out, because I felt like it's lacking the rest of their, you know, romances, the continuation on and getting to know each other and all that. It was a fun read, and I am looking forward to picking up the next book in that series. The next one I read is Feed by Aveda. I rated this one 4 stars. This is about a succubus. She needs like her needs met. She feeds on certain things, and so she has like this service where they come to her home, and she gets, you know, what she needs from them. And so she somebody shows up for, you know, for her servicing and it just so happens to be one of her coworkers, and he is just thrilled for this because she is very kind of an uptight person and is very ambitious, and he is just thrilled to get under her skin and do this for her. And because they're always like in competition with each other, and she is just mortified that, you know, he would know this about her, but she still lets him in, and they have a very, very hot night together. That is pretty much all I remember. I do know that there is a 2nd book in the series that I am looking forward to reading. It's Skin. I think that's what it's called. It was not much plot to it. It's pretty much just erotica, but it was different, and I enjoyed it. And the next one I read is Soul Eater by Mayne. This is the 1st book in her monster series, and I saw where Jen from the Book Refuge had loved this book, and I decided to give it a try because I've just been wanting to read all the monster and weird romances lately. It's just what I've been in the mood for. I've been doing some major mood reading lately, and I fell in love with this series. It is so good. This is an romance series, and this follows like it's a dystopian future of where there's been like a rip in the veil that separates the monster world from the human world, and so the monsters have come to Earth, and the humans have congregated into like cities and forts and whatnot to try to survive these monsters. Some are very peaceful, some are not. And Earth is just a very different place than it used to be. And there is the Soul Eater who comes like every 3 years, and people see him devouring and killing people. So he comes across these soldiers, and he lets one live and survive. And they capture the Soul Eater. And they are very intrigued why he kept the soldier alive. So they keep sending him into his cell to try to interrogate him, try to find out questions, because what they ultimately want to do with him is to use him for, you know, what they need and want. And he's very intrigued with this human. His name is Danny, and Danny is just scared so much. He is in the military because he had no place to go, but he hates being in the military, and he is scared out of his mind every time they send him in there to the Soul Eater, and then the Soul Eater ends up killing the rest of the soldiers and taking Danny with him, and so they escape, and Danny finds out what the Soul Eater actually is, that his name is actually Wen, and he comes to Earth to get rid of parasites that are infecting and killing these humans. The parasites overtake the humans very easily, and so Wen comes back to Earth to search the earth and get rid of these parasites. So he's actually doing something very, very good, but most people don't understand that. Danny and Wen are just traveling from place to place, and Danny really gets to know Wen, and Wen is such a grumpy, grumpy monster, but he is just loves Danny. He's grumpy for everybody else except for Danny, and their romance was so sweet. I completely fell in love with these characters in this world, and I rated it 5 stars. Then I read the second book in the series, which is Edin. This follows another monster that we saw in book 1. He is friends with Wen, the Soul Eater, and he is like a purple monster man. He just roams the earth, and he just so happens upon this soldier who fell into this hole, and he rescues him out of there. And the soldier's name was Hunter. He and his best friend Charlie have been in the military together for quite a while, and they were separated because Charlie was captured by these other monsters. So Hunter asked Edin, I don't know exactly how it's pronounced, to help him find Charlie. So they go on this mission to go find Charlie. And along the way, Hunter and Edin fall in love, and this was my least favorite book in the series. I love the monster Edin, but Hunter was just a little less to be desired. He just had a temper that he would just explode for every little thing, and I'm just was so over it. But it was still a great book to the series, but it was just my least favorite, and I rated it 4 stars. And then the last book I read for March is the Reek by Mayne. This is the next book in the series, and this one was so sweet. It's definitely one of my favorites in the series. This follows the human Gage. He is living in this fort, and what he does, every person in the fort has like a job that they do, and his is to scavenge. So he leaves the fort and he scavenges in the wild, and he and his friend are scavenging, and he finds this wounded monster left behind in this military place. It is actually the one that Wen and escape from, and he rescues the monster because he's just a very sweet, very gentle monster, and he's just traumatized. He has been held in captivity for a long time now, and he has so much PTSD and anxiety. And Gage has anxiety. It has really good anxiety representation. And he rescues Ari, which that's the monster's name, and they take him back to their fort. Everybody is very wary of this because, monsters have such a bad name, but, everybody can see that he is so gentle, he's so sweet, and he is just such a cinnamon roll hero. Actually, all of the heroes in this series are cinnamon rolls, like the monsters especially. But Ari is so gentle, but there is monsters do know of him, especially the half monster, half human named Moth. He comes to the fort occasionally, and when he hears that they have the Reek in their fort, he's like, "Are you out of your mind?" And they're like, "But he's so gentle, he would never, he wouldn't even hurt a fly," until he takes Gage as his mate. And when Gage is threatened and harmed, he transforms into like a very, very big, scary version of himself. The first time Gage sees this, he's just floored and shocked, and he just kind of turns into like a killing machine if anyone dares threaten his mate. And so they have to get past that and all that, but it is such a great book to the series. I loved it so much. It's so hard for me to choose a favorite out of the series because I love them all so much. I have absolutely adored the Monstrous series by Mayne. I'm so sad that I finished it. I just had to binge it because I could not put them down. They were so good. I really highly recommend this series if you like monster dystopian type of stories. So anyway, those are the rest of the books that I read in March. Let me know what you have been reading lately, or if you've read any of these. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.